continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Government officials are issuing contradicting statements on the safety and effectiveness of face shields, causing confusion on the part of the public. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro gives us a front seat to the story.
From day one, experts have been one in saying that face shields give users an added layer of protection against the SARS-CoV-2 virus.
Face shields do add a layer of protection combined with the face mask, no? And the protection can go up to 8 or 10% addition.
An added layer of protection, given that our vaccine coverage is still low at less than 5%.
But while the science on the use of face shields is clear, the policy on face shields is certainly not. On Wednesday, President Duterte told senators that face shields should only be worn in a hospital setting. This contradicts a standing government order since December. By Thursday, the Interagency Task Force against COVID-19 was already appealing to the president to reverse his statements on face shields.
We need to have some form of uniformity in what we implement in our response.
The question now, which policy is enforced? Health Secretary Duque says that while the IATF appeal is pending, the President's last statement is the current policy. His Undersecretary, Maria Rosario Vergere, however, says otherwise. In the meantime, enforcers are waiting for the final word. Over 400,000 face shield violators have been arrested according to the PNP. In this police station in Manila, policemen say they will have to enforce the older face shield policy.
Doctor informed me na ang pag-transfer talaga COVID virus is through droplets. So that's why we need to wear face mask and face shield also.
Okay na lang to yung face mask, pero face shield parang pwede nang hindi na.
Microbiologist Father Nick Ostiatico warns the confusing message is dangerous.
So whatever the rule is, it has to be incredibly consistent, right? And the danger now is that no one knows what to do, so no one does anything.
However, Dr. Edsel Salvana of the DOH Technical Advisory Group says that regardless of policy, it will always be better to err on the side of caution.
Kahit pa sabihin nila na hindi na required ang face shield, I will recommend it because it is an extra layer of protection.
I'm Jacob Lazaro and we are One News.
The OCTA Research Group says that the hospital care utilization rate in some provinces already exceeded 70%. In an interview with One News, Professor Guido David said that, for one, Davao City recorded its highest daily cases since the pandemic, resulting to an HCUR of 66%. Now, other areas of concern have also high hospitalization or hospital utilization rates due to the continuous increase in cases.
Bacolod, Iloilo City, Dumaguete, Cagayan de Oro have high hospital utilization. That also includes Butuan, Tacloban, and Tuguegarao. And as you mentioned, Polomolo, healthcare utilization is increasing, and it's also having a significant increase in new cases. And now we're also seeing Valencia in Bukidnon having a significant increase in cases.
David also warned that an India-like COVID-19 situation is looming in some of these areas of concern. David said that the situation in Dumaguete is already comparable to India, where hospitals became overwhelmed with the surge in cases.
Other areas that I mentioned, like Davao City, like I said, their attack rate is still relatively lower compared to the others. But the ones that are really getting to be serious are Dumaguete, Iloilo City, Bacolod. They're still having increases, and their healthcare systems getting filled up quick.
COVID-19 variants have been threatening a possible resurgence of infections even in vaccinated populations. But Johns Hopkins University says there is no need for booster shots yet. Let's watch this.
Given all of the positive results that are coming from the vaccination campaign. Not only the fact that the safety signatures are really coming through incredibly strong, but also the efficacy of the vaccine, and in particular the efficacy against variant viruses, maintains a very high level. So this vaccine looks really, really good. It continues to look good with all of the studies that have been done since it's rolled out. So it's a little bit of a head scratcher as to why there isn't a more broader acceptance of this vaccine, because there really isn't anything about it that would cause that should cause any hesitancy for people.
I wonder about the Delta variant and how much of a concern that is, because the Brits are pretty well vaccinated as well, and they're seeing what looks like another wave of infections.
Yeah, the critical thing about that is it looks like fully vaccinated people. So if you're talking about the mRNA vaccine, people who've gotten the second dose and are 2 or 3 weeks out from the second dose, those individuals seem to have a good response that protects against the Delta variant. Remember, the UK took a different strategy. They tried to immunize everybody with a single dose initially to get broader immunity. And the Delta variant is showing us that that broader immunity is not necessarily enough to protect against it. You need the double dose immunity, the stronger immunity from a full vaccination course to really protect against that virus. So if you stick to the 2-course vaccine that we're doing here in the US, we should be able to provide really good protection against the Delta variant.
Andy, what's the latest on boosters, whether we need them?
So far, everything looks good. You may see some piles of plates behind me here. We're looking at people who've been vaccinated 6 months ago, trying to measure their antibody responses and how they're declining over time. All the studies so far look good, and because this fully vaccinated regimen provides protection against variants, I don't think there's a big emphasis yet on trying to push a booster through. What would drive that is if we see a really new variant that is evading that full vaccination immune response, or if we really notice that 12, 14 months after vaccination, you see a really significant waning of your immune response. But neither of those things have really come to the light yet.
Now, here are the biggest stories we're following across the globe. Thousands took to the streets across Brazil yesterday to protest against President Jair Bolsonaro's pandemic response, slamming the leader for not acquiring vaccines fast enough and for questioning the need for masks. According to Reuters, only 11% of Brazilians are fully vaccinated and 29% have received a first dose. By early afternoon, protests had been held in at least 44 cities in 20 states. Demonstrators allege that the nearly 500,000 dead was a form of genocide carried out by the government on the Brazilian people. Currently, a special Senate committee is probing the Bolsonaro administration's pandemic response. Thousands of people lined up outside London's Olympic Stadium, which has turned into a mass vaccination center. The stadium is now home to soccer club West Ham United after it was used in the 2012 Olympics. Other London clubs also joined the effort to get more people vaccinated through offering their stadiums to serve as vaccination sites. Britain recorded over 10,000 new COVID-19 cases on Saturday and 14 new deaths, while 81% of its adult population received their first dose and 59% are fully vaccinated. Meanwhile, in Japan, Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike has canceled all public viewing sites for the Summer Olympics, diverting some venues to be COVID-19 vaccinations centers instead. Reuters reports that, according to Japanese medical experts, banning spectators at the Olympics was the least risky option for going ahead with the event. The Tokyo government is set to talk with the International Olympic Committee and International Paralympic Committee tomorrow. Marching bands played and crowds gathered for quieter reflections about racial justice yesterday to mark Juneteenth as a new U.S. federal holiday, commemorating the end of the legal enslavement of Black Americans. This after President Joe Biden signed a bill last Thursday, making Juneteenth the 11th federally recognized holiday. Juneteenth, or June 19th, marks a day in 1865 when a Union general informed a group of enslaved people in Texas that they have been made free by President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation during the Civil War. Black Americans lauded this move, saying that this has been a long time coming. But recent incidents of police brutality toward black people and legislation in several U.S. states that curtails voting rights show that much more work needs to be done. PPE waste disposal has been a long-standing problem for all countries since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. To address this problem, a Spanish manufacturer is creating green-friendly masks which can be disposed organically. Let's watch this report from Bloomberg.
El objetivo no es hacer solamente una mascarilla que te pueda cubrir la boca, sino que proteja, igual que una FFP2 o una FFP3, frente a la penetración de los aerosoles infectivos. O sea que hemos hecho la mascarilla funcional y biodegradable, y en eso somos los únicos. Y no solamente, y tenemos dos modelos, uno que es biodegradable incluso en el medio ambiente y otro que es compostable industrial. Las nanofibras son fibras que son 1000 veces más finas que el grosor de un cabello humano. Entonces eso lo que hace es que generan una malla muy fina con una porosidad muy pequeña.
Era necesario, pero porque se está tirando al mar, están contaminando el mundo y es necesario que se hagan unas que sean de biodegradables, porque parece ser que todavía durará tiempo en lo de llevar la mascarilla.
Aquí ahora mismo este tipo de mascarillas acaban incinerándose y recuperando lo que es la energía térmica que contienen. Si se pudiesen biodegradar, evidentemente pasarían al proceso de biometanización o bioestabilización y degradarían orgánicamente completamente. Entonces ya no quedaría este residuo como tal.
Those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later again at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.